August 11th edition of the Carolina Weather Video here on this Wednesday. A lot to talk about today. Some heat and humidity continuing today. Storm chances increasing. A different type of weekend forecast for us, as well as Tropical Depression number 5. So let's get right into it here on today's edition of the video. First of all, the radar imagery from the 5 o'clock hour this morning. And again, we have one of those big complexes of thunderstorms up in the Midwest. That'll probably play a role in our weather tomorrow, and overall the chances for showers and storms will be on the increase. Now, it's going to be a hot and humid day today. All the peach shaded counties across not only parts of our region, but back in a lot of real estate in the plains and the mid-Mississippi and Ohio valleys. Those are all heat advisories. Remember, the threshold for a heat advisory is a heat index over 105 during the afternoon. And even the spots that are just outside of the heat advisory, such as Charlotte and Greensboro, down to Greenville, Spartanburg, there'll be some, probably 102 to 104 degree heat index values today. So it's going to be hot any way you look at it for today. There's the upper air chart. The big ridge, though, beginning to show signs of breaking down. Here's the upper air chart by Sunday evening. And next week's forecast is interesting. It's all going to revolve around how this big trough that's been near the west coast of Canada, as that begins to move eastward, how will it interact and move into the eastern part of the country? Now, that's the big forecast question next week. Now, let's talk about today. I do think this afternoon there'll be a few thunderstorms around, and probably a little better chance actually this evening for some areas of at least scattered thunderstorms. It's going to be a hot day, mid to upper 90s, and again, this storm chance will be with us this afternoon and into this evening especially. And then tomorrow, I think a good opportunity for scattered showers and storms as a frontal boundary begins to drop in from the north. Friday also looks to feature good chances for scattered showers and thunderstorms, but I believe that front by Friday begins to slide just to our south, and that's going to allow this high pressure that's in the New England states to begin to wedge down into our area. The models are not in agreement on the timing of that, but generally speaking, I think upper 80s to around 90 Friday, and then upper 80s for highs Saturday and Sunday. The weekend probably featuring a lot of clouds and some chances of showers and possibly thunderstorms from time to time. And then next week, there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to maintain daily chances for scattered thunderstorms, and at some point, maybe around Thursday or so, a pretty potent cold front begins to drop our way, and that could, if it slides through, bring us some significantly cooler temperatures by the end of next week. But whether or not it actually pushes through is still a question mark. We'll be working on that part of the forecast as we head into next week. All right, into the tropics. We have our area way out there in the Atlantic Ocean. Still could get classified as a system, but again, that's heading north into the open waters of the Atlantic. But Tropical Depression 5 is alive down to the Gulf of Mexico. But boy, it looks unhealthy this morning. This is the satellite imagery. The actual center of circulation on TD number 5 is right in this area. Pretty ill-defined. In fact, the reconnaissance aircraft had a hard time finding the low-level center with its flight this morning. But Stacy Stewart, one of the forecasters I have great respect for, the Hurricane Center, put out a great discussion this morning with their 5 a.m. advisory, and I concur that the circulation with TD number 5 from about 850 millibars or about 5,000 feet on up is very well defined. So it'll probably get a little better organized with time over the next 24 hours. Now, there is the clustering of the computer model guidance tracks, and a little bit of an eastward shift here over the last couple of model cycles. But generally speaking, we're still talking the north central Gulf Coast for an eventual landfall of TD number 5. And there's the intensity charts. Notice none of the models, at least on this plot here, are spiking this up to hurricane intensity. But a number of the models do make this a tropical storm. And the official National Hurricane Center forecast does indeed make this a tropical storm over the next 24 hours as well. Here's some of the select models. There's the GFDL, and it brings us to close to southeast Louisiana at late into the day tomorrow on Thursday. And then the GFDL, as well as a lot of the other models, actually really tighten this up once it begins to make landfall and begins to interact with an approaching trough. And the GFDL here, all the way out of 120 hours, still has this thing sitting over northeastern Alabama. Look at the hurricane. Yeah, and we're looking here on the hurricane wharf at the model chart valid at 1 o'clock, or 2 o'clock, I'm sorry, 2 o'clock Thursday afternoon. And it's one of the models that really tightens this up as it approaches and makes landfall. And Hurricane Wharf, it takes us all the way up to hurricane intensity. It's the strongest model. So the general idea here to take from this is we'll watch for that ramp up of intensity that a lot of the modeling is showing as it begins to approach landfall later into the day tomorrow on Thursday. So that's a possibility. Need to keep that in mind. But outside of that, the biggest problems with this system probably rains for parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and western Florida. Especially if this tends to stall out, like some of the modeling is indicating, for 3 to 4, maybe 5 days. So that'll be something to watch, and we might see some of the rains from this try to move up our way in time. But again, it depends on how long it stays stuck there in places around Mississippi and Alabama. So at any rate, we'll watch for that ramp up of intensity. Right now, though, the system is very disorganized looking this morning. All right, that's it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and God bless.